Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining us today for our continuing AU Passes series. Today, we've got Collaborative Standards Workshop, Uniting Management and Technical Teams. My name is Jason Kunkel. I'm with CAD Microsystems, and we are really excited to be joined here today by Mark Behrens, who's going to give us our presentation. First, real quick note about CAD Microsystems. We're a consulting firm. We specialize in software, training, professional services, and BIM expertise for commercial and public sector customers in design, build, and operate industries. We have a team of industry-recognized experts. We have published authors, registered architects, engineers, construction experts, and we have top-rated speakers from Autodesk University and Build. Our customers call us when they are frustrated with their design processes and technology, and they want to improve efficiency, add new capabilities to win more work, and stay competitive. We like to take an educational approach to solving our customers' challenges, and we're focused on helping achieve each organization's business goals. As I mentioned, here at CAD, education is a core value, and we're using the AU Passes series to help empower the design and construction community to share knowledge and connect with one another by building this platform and others. So the AU Passes series came from feedback we got from many of our customers and their frustration in not being accepted to speak at Autodesk University. And frankly, it's not because the presentations and ideas aren't innovative or relevant, but simply because you can only pack so much content into a 3-day conference. So we're excited to be continuing our Passes series, and we've got Mark here to help us out.
Welcome everyone to my Collaborative Standard Workshop, Uniting Management and Technical Teams presentation. However efficient and well organized any individual team within your organization may be, they must work collaboratively with others to be a viable asset within your organization to promote forward growth and head towards corporate goals. Obviously, we want to return on investment increase. We want to get employees getting better bonuses. We need to get people on board. An efficient team of people will remain isolated and be nothing to an organization unless they are willing to collaborate with others, share what they know, share their best experiences, their learnings, how things have failed in the past, what they have learned, and what they would promote going forward. Any forward progress will be something that needs to be based upon the past history and collaborating with those who have failed. Working together to promote forward progress, otherwise, will be extremely challenging, and you will run into many issues that you may not even expect to see. My goals in this session are to help people tackle the challenges of their everyday corporate world. The actual cause of many of these problems becomes the ivory tower syndrome. Now, that I can explain very easily. My organization is great. My little team is great, but nobody likes our input, nobody likes our feedback, and nobody will listen to what we have to say. So we're our own little ivory tower. Now, if we can get an organizational group together to say, your information and your data are something that we can use in the future, and we can use this to build a better plan, there's a very good chance you're going to go forward. However, the isolated teams in their ivory towers will cause issues that you're not going to expect and you're not going to see, because you're going to get a certain number of people who are going to say, we will work with you, your information's good, and they won't share their information, or you'll share your information with others. The problem becomes that you will get improper information. The problem will not be continuing to be solved. It'll just fall, it'll faint, and you're going to end up going nowhere as a company. You're not going to be making the forward goal that you really plan to get. My history is in AutoCAD design. I have been with Red Viking in Plymouth for 16 years. I do automated guided vehicle control for assembly and manufacturing plants. I have been a controls designer, employing AutoCAD Electrical for 16 years. I've been doing CAD management for 10 plus of those years by virtue of no one else stepping up to that plate. I started out drawing with ink on Mylar in 1980 until I saw AutoCAD. Then that was it. Basically, AutoCAD took over and it became the world. I started back then. I've been using it for 40 years. I have seen many positive changes, many that were questionable, but it's all forward progress. Like I said, if it's even a questionable progress step, it's a step. Take it, run with it, make it go. I've been an expert elite with Autodesk since 2020. I write articles for Augie World Magazine and for Autodesk Community Blog and other supportive organizations to go with Autodesk training. This graphic says basically everything in a nutshell, what you need to know. If we start out and look at the basic core fundamentals of this whole concept of collaboration, there's going to be several takeoffs from this. With these takeoffs, you will gain something positive in every one of them. I will review them in a brief description and potential for one of these failing and not happening. Teamwork is going to be your first goal. I collaborate within my team. I do a great job. We get everything done. We need to take that teamwork outside of our own little circle. We work with another team. We get other teams to see that we are working and we are doing something positive. The effort goes positive. Management will see this and see that we are not becoming just another expense to have a meeting and kill time. Now, that happening will lead to motivation on other teams who are watching and other just higher profile groups within your organization. Hey, these guys are actually thinking. These guys are actually moving forward as a group. There's something that really looks like it's worth investing. Now, that being said, people with available assets, i.e. other personnel to help you, training, software support, it will begin to assist you in developing your forward plan. You will grow, you will get better, and your forward moving plan now has however many other groups who've realized what the value of your organizational task is. They're going to make it forward. They're going to help you. They're going to provide you a support network. And you're going to see various groups that have not even been considering looking at moving forward with your task step up and say, I can help you. A quick example, I am working with database issues right now. And I had a contact at our South Carolina office contact me out of the blue when he read what I'm trying to do. And he helped me set up, an SQL database training session because he saw that I was having trouble. I didn't reach out to him. I didn't look to find him. He just saw that and said, I'm going to support you in your effort. Now, with sharing these ideas between these groups, overall management is going to say, I like this. We have a cohesive group. We have people trying to make it work. We have people trying to make things go positive. Now, with management's blessing, seeing all of these positive things, you're going to get an environment of trust. They're going to trust the fact that you are not just flying by the seat of your pants. I'm trying to sell you some snake oil and make this process work. It's a really nice story. They're going to put potential time and budgetary resources into that which you are trying to make work. Now, what's going to happen there? You're going to have successful implementation, hopefully you will, I should say, of the plans that you are trying to present to the corporation. When you present this, the support you've gotten in the past will help be successful with management standing up and saying, okay, you guys may not like this down on the shop floor because we're changing the way that we're producing the document. Well, engineering has just been made 25% more efficient with some of the positive efforts they made in the way they do their work. We're not trying to make your work miserable. We're not trying to make your life unpleasant on the shop floor with what we're doing. It's a side effect. We will work to work and cooperate with you and tune things and make the plan positive for everyone involved. Now, the end result of this is forward corporate support from now till the management stops seeing growth. What you need to do is basically have an active plan, have meetings, set up teams of review once a month, once every 2 months, put together some time and say, okay, we've had this place in 2 months now. How long has this been going on? Has this been successful? Has this been helpful? Have people actually gained from this? If not, where do we step back and look? We made 3 steps forward and took 1 back. Shame on us. We didn't take something into account, but we still made those 2 steps forward, people, because you have done something positive.
Hey, Mark, real quick.
Yes.
On that collaboration, first of all, this is great stuff. I think, you know, your background is certainly on the design tech end, mine is as well. And I think for a lot of us, you know, we went down that road because we had a specific problem that we could overcome. And I don't want to say it was easy, but it was natural for us to be able to solve that problem on our desktop, in the software, or however. And you're putting kind of an overall picture that there are bigger things rather than a mouse not working or a line not showing up. And I like how you're framing it up as it needs this collaboration. You know, when back to the mouse example, when my mouse isn't working, I know how to fix that. In terms of the collaboration, though, what can you do when the value isn't seen for that, or when you're hitting roadblocks to that whole thing that requires so many other people?
That brings up a very good point, which is going to become a possible thorn in your side as a forward-looking employee. That is the management attitude. If management does not see the justification and positive aspects of all your efforts, they're not going to keep allowing your meetings. And what you're going to have, I don't care if you have 10 people or 100, there's always going to be the dissenter. You have to focus on the positive people who are supporting your attention and your plan and making this go forward. Because when somebody says, I don't see this working, that's one voice. You need to take all your positive sessions, all your positive results, present them to not only that dissenter, but everyone else in the organization and say, I understand that John over here might have an issue with this. His department has in the past been minimalized as far as their importance or the priorities of their tasks for the day. We are working on that. This will move forward. You've got to have a forward moving, rolling plan. You cannot just stop and walk away. Now, there may be a time when management simply says, we will not support your plan. If they do that, you have got a whole different issue, and that becomes a different mindset that needs to change from the top. My goal here is that you as an individual approach your company as a forward thinking, positive change individual. I can provide you a guideline, I would call it, as to how to move forward. With this guideline, you have to keep in mind my past experiences, my past history, my management level organization and attitudes are going to impact what I say. This is not for everyone else. As an individual, you are going to need to do a lot of research, talk to people, become somebody's friend that you just happen to see in passing every day. Find out what bothers them. Find out what makes them tick. Find out what makes their job good. Find out what makes their job fail. Unless you know in your organization at the issues that affect you and your coworkers, you're not going to be able to enhance your entire organizational process. Now, you may be very careful doing this, and I will warn you of one thing: do not step on toes. The one thing I will tell you is be open-minded. Do not. Well, John was always a bit of a griper anyway. He never really liked the job. He never really liked the place, and he always put it down. Well, why did John put the job down? because again, the positive work that his team done is always taken credit for by someone else. We cannot have that and make it work in a positive way. Now, that being said, has anybody else been in this situation that you're doing your absolute best, yet the water coming down that stream never stops? There's a reason for that. The problem may be so far ingrained back in corporate management history or other issues that you don't have a clue about. That, somebody retired 25 years ago and they started this situation and now you're bailing. Well, you can't very well just keep bailing. You will become frustrated, you will become disgruntled, and people will see your efforts as wasted. How many people that run a business do you know want to be putting this kind of a Band-Aid into an environment? We have several seriously take to heart questions that need to be asked here. Everyone involved with this subject who's attending this has the goal of improving their own work situation. Their environment is very different than the one next to them, even if it's the same type of business. There is nothing I can tell you without knowing at a core level what that environment is that's going to make it work better for you. Just remember one thing. You can make positive changes in your environment using the proper techniques, asking the proper questions, talking to the proper people. Again, we're talking make friends with everybody, take notes of every conversation you have with them in business. Some of the really serious questions you need to ask when you're stuck at bailing out like this is, why has there been no forward progress? Has the problem just been ignored, or has somebody intentionally buried it because they don't want to look bad? They don't want a negative light brought to something which was an issue. Now, if you can find them, what were the previous efforts to move forward? Who made them? Are they still available? Talk to these people. Find the results. Find out where they failed and at what level they failed. Now, the issue could have been corporate climate back 5 years ago when this guy started working. And who knows, that could have changed. You've got to find out if the culture in corporate climate right now is open to looking forward and improving, or are they closed-minded and saying, we're not going to go anywhere? I don't want to say that that the man with the red bucket will be considered wasting time and or effort. However, there's going to be the management level people who will stop it and say, we do not want to put any effort into this. It is not on our radar. Now, the real question is, what can be done to build support for future changes in the environment you're with? You need to do a deep dive into your previous management, the mindset. Was the environment you're working in bad? Was the economy slow? Was management saving money because they couldn't spend it because the business was slow? Who are your key people? They've changed over the last few years. The management in our company have literally changed 4 times in 3 years. And the very last step that I'm going to tell you that you really need to take here is research and prepare your data. Do it again and then do it again. Then go through your corporate structure, find out who your key players are. Aim this information at them. Aim this data at them at a level that's going to draw their interest and say, hey, I'm concerned with this. He brought it up. I see where I can see a problem. How am I going to deal with that? Now, when it comes to finding a solution, you've got to define the problem at its core level first. 99 out of 100 times, it's failure for one worker to communicate with another. The guy who put this drain system in line where the main canal is knew about a problem. The valve was not right. It was undersized. So what do? They shut the flow down. Well, problem solved on his part. Now we need to increase the flow. Oh, the valve's too small. Now you've got the guy again with the bucket because nobody at first said, we need to look into the real drive here, which is failing. That is the water feeding into this canal. It's going to overflow eventually. It's almost lunchtime, I gotta go. Or he's retiring in 5 years and it's not on his radar. The real issue is going to be that you, as a forward thinker, cannot give up. Do not back away when you see this. And when you hear, well, the only budgetary allotment for the system at the time was that. Well, if you know of the problem now, and you just keep it, and they say band-aid it for another year or 2 years, your problem. You just created a very big issue. You didn't try to say there's a better way. The real issue that's going to come up is how long has the issue honestly been ignored, and why? Why was it a problem? Because the people who put the system in place decided they could work with the best they had. Well, now everybody else looks at them and says, you guys failed. They can back up their reference and documentation and supporting information and say, no, we didn't. Here's what we had. Here's what the budget was. The guy who ran the whole group at the time didn't bring it up. He didn't want any discussions on it. And that was the end of it. We dropped it. That's when we started putting Band-Aid on top of Band-Aid. You, as a concerned individual, when you raise an unpopular question like this, are not going to be somebody's friend. Management's going to see that you are causing a ruckus between Department A and Department B. That's all they see. You can be talking positively to Department A and Department B. But if someone within either of those teams creates such a ruckus and a negative perception to your efforts, then you're not going to get very far. You need to have a positive, capable, and let's just say achievable goal from you're looking into this problem to show others, particularly management, who control purse strings. Are we seeing a common word here in management? If you do not buy into their goals to increase profits, increase margins, then you're not going to go anywhere. Now, at the same point, if you don't, the people working on bottom line, the people in the middle, all the way up the chain, are not going to get any bigger bonuses. They're not going to see raises. Now you're seeing negatively by them. That's another problem. Many positive relationships that you've had in the past with these guys. You know, we go out to lunch now and then. We go out and have beer after work, or we go shoot pool, or we're a golf league, whatever. They've been your friends because you've never caused a light to be shined on their task at work or their project at work or how things go. By bringing up the questions, you put them in a spotlight possibly. Be ready for this to come back at you and have them change their loyalties and say, yeah, we have a really good relationship, but our team is not put in a bad light because of you. We don't like it. The point here, tread very lightly when you consider talking to these people. Tread very lightly based upon their previous experience. And this goes right back to you talking to them and getting to the root of how they were respected, their work, things that they did, activities, and the overall image, I will call it, of what you do and how you do it. If your work and or your reputation does not look positive in a management light, you will not be very successful, I should say, convincing these guys you're doing what you can, because management's going to come right down on them and say, you failed, we can't have this.
So I love the attention to kind of, I don't know if I call it politics, but certainly interpersonal relationships in the whole thing. And finding that problem is essential. What do you have recommendations or thoughts of if you just hit a roadblock, if you can't define the problem?
Well, honestly, And this comes down to you stepping back from a corporate growth point of view and say, hey, John, I'm not here to try to make your life miserable or put a bad light on what you do, how you do it, or what your team does. I know it's valuable. I think we can all still work together and talk to people on a friend's level, have a pizza lunch, get together with them, chat with them. Or, as I said, if they like to go out and have a beer, that's fine. Do it. But don't come in from the corporate, I'm here for the company goal. Come in, hey, we've been friends for 10 years, John, and now all of a sudden you and your whole team don't like what I'm doing. I have nothing against it. I'm just here trying to help you and explain to them by showing them the positives on a personal level. You need to go down to that personal level and say, look, I see where this could help you. It's helped me. Okay. And I see where you're frustrated because you're working 65 hours a week. We need to change that. We need to make things positive for you so that you can be enjoying life. And by doing that, I'm going to ask you to support me in my corporate-based drive and go along with what I'm trying to do. And we can all make things a little bit better. Now, hopefully that answers your question, sir. That's the best that can be done. There's always going to be personal interactions, and some people will simply say, I'm not involved and I will not get involved with it, nor will I work with it, or will I deal with it because the company has dumped on me for 10 years. I'm sorry, I cannot take that person out of the equation. In that case, you have to work around that one roadblock. If it's one member of a team and there's 10 people on that team, the other 9 are your allies. You cannot just let 1 or 2 negative perceptions destroy your project. Your goal here right now is to move forward with solving a problem that impacts John and many others. Now, that being said, this slide is very telling. What is the root of the problem? Usually it's staring right at you. Now, for you to bring that subject up, for you to ask that question about this problem that's right in your face, is not very commonly accepted. You become seen as a pariah. Oh, he's always putting down this, and he's always bringing this problem up, never looking positive. The positives are only there because you've buried the negatives under 100 Band-Aids, and people have forgotten them, and they walk past it, they don't see it. By potentially exposing a weak link in the system, you're going to put a spotlight on people that have an insecurity, or maybe they're just an egotistical person. Typically, this is management driven. Management will hire these people who run a group, who develop teams and develop processes, and not follow through with a living plan to make sure that these plans and or processes go well. When they don't, the management turns away from it because management's got its own corporate level stuff. Okay, their image is, hey, how do we look to our customers? How do we look in the industry? Our public profile and our product are what we have to deal with. We don't need to deal with the fact that this department has an issue with the other one and it's causing them half hours more time on job. That's not their issue. Now, the people who it does impact at that point, they're isolated. They feel frustrated. Yeah, this drawing that I got from engineering has all kinds of nice new updates that they put in. It helps them out. What does it do for me? It puts an extra 2 hours worth of work on every job I built. Now, the issue there, again, I got to work 2, 4, 5 hours a week extra. Hey, when am I going to go home and see my child? Or when's my wife going to be happy when I can come home before 7 o'clock and she's not ready to kill me? Okay. Or there's life outside of work that these people are going to get impacted when one department makes a change without looking seriously into the human factor. What's going to happen to the people doing the work that I'm providing this. I made my life a whole lot easier. I'm out of here 2 hours early every day. That's great. I can go do whatever I want to do. Oh, too bad John's got to be here 2 more hours because the process changed. You can't do that. You will create enemies. You will fail. And when it comes to sensitive issues about the forward direction of the company, you've got to be really careful. There are some upper management secrets that flat out they want to keep. Another manager from 5 years ago may have been a true jerk, may have just been a negative person in general. And the issue there becomes you bring up problems that are caused by policies and or practices that were put in under his microscope. Well, he doesn't like that. So he's going to come after you in a way that you're not even going to be ready for. So you will be met with scrutiny from everybody in the organization, but be aware it could get very, very ugly and very unpleasant if it's handled in the wrong way. This is a very interesting quote. Okay. It's funny how you never know who has your back until you need to know who has your back. You assume your friends, your coworkers, and the general conversationalists that you have activities with every day are going to have your back. Well, why wouldn't they? We sit together at lunch. We're coworkers. We go to Christmas parties together. Well, that's a really nice thing. You are not going to be seen in the same light with them if you bring up a change within your step of the organization, which is going to impact them. I mean, it's going to happen. They're going to have something go that they don't like. It's a given. What's going to happen is you're not going to see it, though. They're going to go back from lunch and you're sitting there talking about your new ideas in their own little team. They're going to be talking suspiciously about you. When they do this, be ready for the issue to come back and say, oh, we have always been supporting you. Why are you not now? You're going to find out unfortunately, by talking to these people that there is no friendship when you potentially put someone in a bad light. You have to be honest and open with them. You explain to them, I have nothing against you, John, or any of you guys, but I still need you to support me. I am not doing anything here to put you nor your group in a bad light, and I need your support to move forward. Because as human nature goes, I'm going to defend my choices. And the guy that you put into the spotlight that used to be supporting you is now being questioned as to why he made a choice, acted as he did, or made a change in the past, is now not going to have your back. This can manifest in many ways. It can be positive. It can be, okay, I understand where you're coming from, John. We need to look into this. Or he could just turn away. You can never predict what's truly going to happen here. When you're trying to make your point to anybody in the group within your organization, you have to know what they care about. By changing what they know as the norm. I come into work every day, I have my coffee, I sit down, talk to my friends, then we do our work. Oh, what do you mean we have a meeting today on how to improve CAD standards? That's not something I'm expecting. No big deal. We sit down in the meeting. That throws something into their mind that says, why? That's an unknown to them. You need to get into the mind of the guy that you're trying to talk to or the group that you're trying to talk to. Find out what their investment is. Is it money coming into the bottom line? Is it saving time to make things more efficient so that their processes can go faster? You need to understand what the real goal is and what they're true desire is if you present this potential solution, I'll call it, to them. They may not like it, but you have to know what their real desire is, and you can basically become a marketing person and tell these guys, yeah, I see this being better. Give me the chance to talk to you, show me what you have as a problem, and I'll be transparent and honest with what I'm trying to do, and we'll move forward. Usually that means we start from ground zero. Okay, hey John, I see your department is doing well. Okay, you're having an issue over here. Let's start from the beginning as to what it is that you receive from materials, your timelines that you receive from the company to get processes done. What's failing? What's not working? Where are the issues coming up? And by talking to John at his level and supporting his goal to make his team better, more efficient, and get a better product, you're going to see that he's going to actually take an interest in what you do. Now, don't think that because your primary focus, I will say, is at the design to management level, you're not going to affect everybody else. Your internal customer in the design avenue is the build house, be it the build house employees that work for you. That's very common. We have that situation here. We have our own build shop. If I make somebody's life miserable in a design shop, I'm not making any friends. You need these guys to support you and to keep their end of positive growth going. One of the biggest things I've done, all the places I've ever worked, you always make sure that any task you undertake, you talk to the people that your end project will affect. Will this hurt you? Will this help you? How can this be better for you? What is going on now? What is failing? What can I do to make things better? And if you have that aspect of your relationship, and it becomes a personal relationship, literally, with the people that are on these teams, you're going to get something positive. You're going to get these guys listening, and they'll step up with you at the next meeting and say, yeah, this stuff that John put together for your CAD standards is great. Look how much time we can save in building this product. It's better, the prints are easier to use, and we have less rework and anything related to it.
So I've got you talked there about having multiple audiences. I mean, you really need to make multiple messages then.
Yes, you do. What you need to do is you need to step back and say, my end goal, which is what you always need to have in focus, is end goal. You need to say, production is going to need something from me that makes their life easier, makes their work go smoother, makes the process better. Because I've got a guy standing in that office watching the production floor saying, why are you so slow? What's going on? Why can't you get this done faster? If you can give them something and say, here's a little bit easier and faster method, they will go to the guy who's running production and say, look, this is what we've done. By working with engineering, we have gotten an efficient document that's going to make life easier. And by going to purchasing and saying, look what we've done with the development of the BOM on this job, it's automated. They don't have to do anything. Purchasing is now going to be happy. Now I've gone to production, I've gone to purchasing, and I've come from engineering. There's only one more team that I really need to buy, and that's management. My goal in any of these points is aiming at the potential gain for that group. Do not try to sell purchasing on the fact that the prints are easier to read. Don't go to build and say, well, it's easier for purchasing to get parts. They're not going to care. Management should be approached at the very last. That's the very last step you need to make. You need all these other positives in your back pocket that say, look, I've gone to purchasing. We can buy cheaper, easier, faster. We can build cheaper, easier, faster. Design is faster and better. I see this as a positive to you. Your margins are going to go up. We're going to make more money. And I'll be perfectly honest with you, as an employee of the company, I'm here to make money just like you guys in management are. And they may find that funny, they may not, but you're being perfectly honest. Anybody in that business is there to make money and be somewhat appreciated and acknowledged with all their efforts. Everybody's working environment is a little bit different, okay, when it comes to affecting these changes. There's one root focus here, return on investment. You may have a mom and pop shop with 20 people, and I have a company of 400. I have the same goal. I want to make more money. I want to pay people more money, and I want my product name and my product image and corporate image to outshine my competition, selling more product, making more business. The issue that you're going to run into is where people will try to take a cookie cutter approach. I said 200 people. I've got an organization that's pretty good size. If I try to sell that to a business owner with 20 people, he's going to laugh at me. We don't have a purchasing department, and we don't have a production leader. We have a part-timer or a person who works at this task part-time, purchasing, ordering, and processing parts. And we don't have a dedicated plant production manager. We have good people to do the job. You're not going to be able to use my concepts necessarily in anything that you actually do. What I'm trying to do here is give you the mindset to say, I can change this, I can make it work, things will go positive, things will be better, but it's going to take work and it's going to take commitment on your part, as well as you accepting this with the caveat that there's going to be failures, there's going to be pitfalls on a few of the steps you take. You will learn to work around them, you will get better, you will improve, because plan 1 is not the first one you're going to get through. It's going to be plan 5B by the time you get everything put through. And that's going to end up what makes and breaks your selling your business, the forward positive goal. Always keep it moving, keep it as a live document. Don't ever give up on this. Now, the key, if you take nothing else from this, anyone who's attended this, I appreciate all your time. Know your audience's values. Do not randomly put jibber jabber into your presentation. Do not do it. The biggest thing I can ever tell anybody, do your research. Do your research again. Do more research. You have to take care of these things and document it. You have to make sure that everything that you're doing is on the up and up and that there's no issues. Now, I wish you the best of luck on this. I don't claim to be positive with it. And there's not a real positive change unless you push it and make it all work. Now, in a nutshell, something to keep in mind, failure is not your setback. Failure is a growth. Failure is going to be something that you're going to run into on a regular basis. As I said, plan 1A is not going to be it. It's going to be plan 5B. Don't assume that 1 is going to work. And when it comes down to it, do not give up. Put the effort in and make it all work. Even a small step will add up in the long run. What you do now will be looked at in many ways. You'll see 5 people respond very differently to what you do. One of them is going to take it forward and roll with it. 2 may reject it. 1 may laugh at it. But you've made an effort. You've done something positive. You're trying to get something done. I cannot stress enough, based upon the way I have had management interact with me in the past, that you really need to be on top of these things and push forward in the face of rejection. Because, short story made very short, I went to a community college. I deal with many people who have degrees and the sheepskins on the wall, and they look down a lot on what us older people, and I'm 62 years old, so I am up there, but I have seen a lot. But what I look and see today does not really fit the way the culture should be. I have found many times that my input, my knowledge will be looked down on by 9 out of 10. As I said, previous example about the SQL database, I had somebody out of the blue contact me after everyone else that I have for 6 months chose to not even contact and talk to me about, oh, we can do this. This is better. I'll help you. All it takes is that one step, and that's the spark to get you moving. All the points that I have made today, relying on one thing, you being a positive source for growth. Do your research, know your audience, know your history, document, cover your bases. Don't go in with any holes in your presentation to a management level. If they have questions and you can't answer them, you're finished. You get one shot with management as a rule, or with anyone as a rule. Make your first one good, yet explain to them, I'm open to interpretation, I'm open to understanding how this is going to go. We may have to change something, but please work with me. Now, I have several articles written on this subject. They are listed below in the slide. My email is present as well. Feel free to contact me if there's an interest in any of the subjects that I've discussed. I would look forward to working with any of you who want to put a positive outlook on your company's future, your goals, your aims. And I very firmly believe that any one of you, whoever you are, whatever level you are within the organization, can be a positive aspect for change. It's just a matter of being diligent and being honest and being transparent and working with the resources that you need. Thank you all for attending my presentation. I very much appreciate your time and listening.
Thanks so much, Mark, for the great information. I know I took a lot of notes. I got do it again and then do it again. And also that I don't want my wife to kill me. So those are some of my two big takeaways here. But thank you all for joining us. We've got some ways you can reach out here to CAD Microsystems if you'd like, our social media. We've got some our email addresses here. And then finally, a quick note about BIMxt. BIMxt is our network that we've set up for sharing information, for sharing resources. We have a handful of in-person city groups. You can see Baltimore, Raleigh, Richmond, Virginia Beach, Charleston, DC, and Charlotte. We have our BIMxt online Zoom meetings, and we have our BIMxt network hosted on LinkedIn, where you're welcome to join and continue the conversation. So thanks again for joining us, and we look forward to talking to you again soon.